Welcome to Virtual Dine, Learn, and Move, brought to you in partnership with the Prince George's County Health Department, Suburban Hospital, University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Dine, Learn, and Move is designed to promote healthy lifestyle habits, and over the next 90 minutes, you'll have a great time engaging in activities that inspire well-being. Get ready to get up and move. Learn simple, everyday tips for making healthy choices, and connect with our chef during an interactive cooking demonstration. Let's get ready to dine, learn, and move.
Greetings and welcome to the May 2025 Dine, Learn, and Move virtual experience. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I'm with the University of Maryland Capital Region Health. On behalf of the Dine, Learn, and Move collaborative partnership, I'm here tonight supported by a team from the Prince George's County Health Department, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, and Suburban Hospital. We are so glad you could join us this evening to learn about this month's topic, Be Stroke Smart, Be Fast. Whether this is your first time here or you are a returning participant, we hope you have a wonderful experience tonight. We are using Zoom webinar for tonight's session, which means we cannot see you and all participants will remain on mute throughout the evening. It is very important that you do not use the raise hand function on your Zoom screen. Again, please do not use the raise hand function on your Zoom screen. If you would like to ask a question, please type your question in the Q&A box, which can be found at the bottom of your screen. Please use the Q&A box for questions for our presenters and the chat box for general comments. Now, let's test your Zoom skills by by having you type your zip code in the chat box. This will help us learn more about where everyone is joining us from tonight. Wonderful. All right. It looks like we have participants joining us from all over the county tonight. Welcome, everyone. Our chat box and Q&A monitor for tonight's program is Emily. Emily will be popping in and out to direct your questions to our presenters. Please make sure to ask your questions in the Q&A box rather than using the chat box or the raise hand feature on your Zoom screen. Again, Q&A box for questions for our presenters and chat box for general comments. So let's practice another Zoom skill by taking a poll. Tonight, we'd like to see how many of you are joining us for the first time and how many of you are returning participants. Please select one choice and submit your answer. Try to take the poll on the screen unless you are on a mobile device. Then you may respond in the chat box. Awesome. Awesome. So it looks like we have a lot of returning participants and some new. So welcome, everyone. In the event that you would like to enable subtitles, please click the CC icon at the bottom of your screen at any time and captions will appear. We do have a full lineup of events for you all tonight. First, Madra is here this month to share some fitness tips and lead us through an energizing fitness routine. This segment of tonight's program is brought to you by the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Next, Michaela Brown, a stroke program nurse navigator from Capital Region Health, will lead us through an informative session on stroke awareness. We will wrap up our session tonight with a live cooking demo from Chef Kim. This segment is brought to you by University of Maryland Capital Region Health and Suburban Hospital. So let's turn our attention now to Madra as she shares some fitness tips for preventing chronic disease. But one quick reminder before we begin. We are using Zoom webinar this month, which means we will not be able to see you while you move. Please continue to follow the safe reminders we have for you. Get some water, clear your space, and move at your own pace. Don't be afraid to take a break or do a modification when you need it. Remember, you know your body best, so only move in ways that feel safe to you. And lastly, have fun. Take it away, Madra.
And open my video. Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear me as I share a few tips about exercise. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools for preventing chronic disease and improve your overall well-being. It also lowers your risk for chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. I am going to share with you 5 exercise tips that will help lower the risk of these chronic diseases. First and foremost, we want to focus on regular physical activity. Prioritize a moderate activity such as walking, your biking, swimming, at least 5 times a week. Adding into that will be strength training. It's so important to do strength training at least twice a week. Tip number 2, we're going to incorporate some aerobic exercise and strength training. Creating a versatile workout plan is key to preventing chronic disease. Participating in aerobic exercise can raise the heart rate and improve your stamina and weight control. Number 3, prioritize flexibility and balance. Excuse me. Trying different types of flexibility and balance, such as stretching, yoga, tai chi, even something as simple as walking backwards or standing on one leg. These exercises will improve your joint flexibility, your body mobility, and stability, also helping you to lower your risk of injury and falls. So prioritizing flexibility and balance will also better equip you to participate in aerobic exercise. Number 4, my favorite. Something in my throat as I talk. My favorite is number 4. Take a rest day. Rest is just as important as fitness gains. Resting allows your body to heal the microscopic tears that working out does to your muscles. It also allows you to restore your energy. Ensuring that you take 1 to 2 days of rest per week will help you get stronger, avoid injury, and enable you to build a long-term healthy habits. So our 5th and final tip, stay hydrated and fueled. Eating a balanced diet and staying hydrated can help you prevent and manage chronic diseases. Making sure that you maintain a balanced diet incorporating fruits, vegetables, protein, high fiber vegetables, and healthy fats, at least 6 to 8 cups of water a day will greatly improve your overall well-being. But remember, everyone's body and needs are different, so it is crucial to listen to your body. By implementing these tips, you can prevent and manage chronic diseases, stay motivated, and prioritize your health and improve your overall well-being. And with that being said, we're going to start the move portion of our workout today. So I am sitting in a chair and I've got 2 water bottles today because I don't have any weights. You don't necessarily have to always have weights. You can use water bottles. They weigh anywhere from 1 to 2, 3 pounds. A can of vegetables. You can use anything that is nearby. Also for this routine today, if you don't want to use any weights, that is perfectly fine. Just do the movements. So we're going to start this with the little march. Moving your arms and your feet up and down. Keep that moving. And if you are standing, it looks basically the same way, just marching in place. We're going to start to raise our heart rate. Keep that blood flowing. Make sure that you pay attention to your core. Whenever you exercise, you should always engage your core. So we're going to keep doing this for about 30 more seconds, getting that heart rate up. That march going. Shoulders back. It's like just a nice brisk walk through the park with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever you're with. Just keep moving, keep moving. From here in 3, 2, 1, hold it. We're gonna do what I like to call an easy jack. Your easy jack just goes like this. We're not gonna leave the ground. We're just gonna go easy. If you are sitting in your chair, I'm gonna pick this up. If you're sitting in your chair, your easy jack just goes here. Arms above the head, legs go out. Let's keep that easy jack going. Again, I like to say it all the time, engage your core. Keep your mind on keeping your back straight. You don't want any hunching over. Raising those arms up above the head. One more. In 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Go back to that march for me. I'm going to stand up, back to that march. We're going to do an easy squat as we sit in our chair. So sit and raise, sit and raise, sit. Get going. Nice. If you are not sitting in your chair, you are just squatting down. Feet are under the shoulders or a little bit wide. Abs are tight. I'll say it 1,000 times. Engage that core. Engage the core. Give me 3, 2, and 1. Stay seated in your chair or standing. We're going to do leg lifts. You're going to straighten that leg out. Your right leg will come out and in. You will feel your quad muscle tighten up. Foot out. Good. I'll do the other leg standing. Keep going. I know sometimes we have knee problems and it's hard to straighten the leg out when you're standing. So that's why I have my chair. Keep going. You got a few more on this leg. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Now switch legs, because what you do on one side, you must always make sure you do on the other side. Keep that leg going. I'm gonna keep it going. When you raise your leg, I want you to feel the tension in that quad muscle. Keep going. I need to get as many on this side as we had on the other side. I'm going to stand and do a few. I'm going to just go straight out and back down. Straight out and back down. Straight out and back. 2 more. I need 5 and 4. 3. This is also that balance I was talking about. 2. Last one. Good job. Go back to that march. Take a deep breath. We're going to go right back to our chair. This time we're going to keep our legs bent and we're going to raise them up. Keep your leg bent and raise. Leg bent. It's like a seated march without the arms. Working the back of the legs in the front. The entire leg movement. Also helps with the hip flexors right here. A lot of times we get stiff in our hips, and this will help. And if we're standing, again, You're just gonna bring that leg all the way up and back down. All the way up, back down. All the way up. Good job, good job, good job. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. I need one on this leg, one, let's do it again. Another one, another one, hold it. Shake those legs out, shake them out, shake them out. Take a seat back in your chair and pick up your weights or your water bottles or your cans or nothing, whatever you decide. We're going to do bicep curls. We're gonna work on the front of the arm. So with your weights, sitting up nice and tall in your chair or standing nice and tall, you're gonna curl that weight all the way up, all the way down. That's good. You let chest up and lift it. Just think about your ability to carry your groceries in the house. Having strong biceps helps with that at all times. But even just carrying the purse, I know as a woman, we carry everything in our purses. So we need to work on those biceps. Just keep curling them up. For about 30 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. Take a drink because I need a drink. So go ahead, pick your weights back up. We're gonna move his arms out to the side and over our head. Now remember, if this is too much with the weights in your hand, take it down, put the weights down, and just move that full range of motion with your arms. All the way up and bring them all the way back down. Working on that shoulder rotation. Getting that shoulder. Okay? Keep going up. The song says, put our hands up. We're gonna put our hands up. Put them up, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. I need 3, 2, last one. Hold those hands up. And I want you to drop the elbows behind your head and bring it up. So we just switched to working our tricep, which is the muscle right behind your bicep. So we get the weights in our hands. Your arms up, bring them over your head. Open up your arms all the way up. And the only thing that is moving at this time is your elbows. Elbows are moving. Let's do this again for about 10 more seconds. Keep going. You know, a lot of times we don't work our triceps enough. Sometimes I know I don't. Keep that movement, right? Taking that weight right behind your head. Just be sure not to hit yourself in the head. That's my favorite term. Abs are tight. Turn that core on. Turn it on. Maybe 3, 2, last one. Good job. Bring those weights down. Shake out those arms. Shake out those arms. And we're going to work a little bit of our core. Sitting up nice and tall on your chair, you're just going to lean over. But when you bend over, you're going to try to feel your stomach and squeeze your belly button into your spine. Squeeze the belly button. And come back up. Squeeze down. And come back up. If you are standing, it's the same motion. Focusing right here on the core. Squeeze and then back up. Squeeze. And then back up. So feel your stomach. Feel your abdominal area tighten up. And then loosen back. Tighten. Keep going. Give me three, two, last one. Hold it. We're gonna take this movement to the side. We're gonna side and then come back to the center and go to the other side. Ready? Go to your right, back to the center, go to your left, back to the center. Keep that movement going. You're working your oblique muscles, which is the side of the side that causes your body to come in. So we're gonna go from side back up to side. You can even put your weights in your hand if you so choose. Side, back up.
Madra, this is your 5-minute warning.
Thank you. More, like 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Hold it right here. Go ahead, put your weights down if you have them. Give me a big stretch up. Turn, lean to the side. Feel the stretch run down that oblique muscle that we just worked out. Bring it back. Take it to the other side. Feel that stretch. Now, one of my tips that I gave you earlier was to incorporate stretch and mobility. So it is so important to stretch after your workouts and also before them, or even if that's a rest day. On your rest day, you can just use it as a stretch. Now, give me a deep breath up and blow it out. Deep breath up and blow it out. One more time, deep breath up. This time I want you to hold those arms up, grab the hands. I'm gonna sit back in my chair. We're gonna do the exact same thing. Stretch those arms all the way up. And then bring them down, bring them in front, interlace the fingers, push out. Feel your shoulder blades in the back of you. Feel them separate. Good job. Release that. Bring those hands around the back of you. Interlace the fingers again. Press down. Feel the chest open up. Good job. Release it. Shake those arms out. Now, sit on the edge of your chair. Grab a leg. Pull that leg into your chest as all possible. Now, never grabbing onto the knee. We're going to grab onto the shin, onto the foot. And even if you can't grab your leg, just bring it up. We're stretching that leg out from the workout. Other side. Now with this leg, I want you to stretch it out in front of you and then reach down and swoop the ground. Feel the stretch in your back. Swoop the ground. One more time, swoop. And if you are standing, let's switch legs. You're going to put this leg out. You're just going to bend down and swoop the ground. Feel the back stretch. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. One more. Good job. Now take it back to a very, very light march. Bringing heart rate down. Bringing it down. Now give me a big deep breath up. And blow it out. Deep breath up. And blow it out. Again, this is your last deep breath up. I want you to breathe in everything that is good and go out anything that is negative, preventing you from being the best you that you can be, and give yourself a round of applause for a job well done. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of our program. And again, my name is Madra Cochran, and it was my pleasure.
Thank you, Maja, for leading us through that wonderful workout. As we transition back, take your time, walk around, catch your breath if you need to, as we move on to our health education segment. We are so happy to have Michaela Brown with us today from the University of Maryland, Capital Region Health's Medical Center. As mentioned earlier, Michaela is the Stroke Program Nurse Navigator, a specialized registered nurse who helps guide stroke patients through the health system to ensure timely and appropriate care. In addition to the wonderful work she does in the hospital, Michaela supports our educational and preventive efforts like today's health talk. So without further ado, Miss Michaela Brown.
Hello, thank you, Jessica. Nice to meet you all virtually. Like Jessica said, my name is Michaela Brown, and I am a nurse at the University of Maryland Capital Region. And I'm really excited to be talking to you about stroke, since May is Stroke Awareness Month. And so this is a very important topic, one that's near to my heart. So we can go to the next slide. All right, so a little bit about why I'm here. So my main goal today is to teach you how to be stroke smart. Despite strokes being very common, very few people are actually able to receive life-saving treatment for stroke, to stop a stroke in its tracks because a lot of people don't actually know how to recognize a stroke. And so in order to be stroke smart, I hope by the end of this you'll be able to be able to tell me what a stroke is, be able to identify the signs and symptoms of a stroke, and then know what is the best way to stop a stroke in its tracks. We'll be talking about some memory aids to help us say stroke smart, and then I'll talk to you about being a stroke champion and carrying on this message. Okay, so a little bit of a background of why we care. So some demographic information about stroke. So stroke is the number 5 cause of death in the US, but in the state of Maryland, it's number 3 cause of death. And in PG County, it is the number 3 cause of death. So in our county and our state, it's more common for people to have a stroke. And maybe more importantly, it's the leading cause of disability in the US. So we know that strokes can be quite devastating. So there can be loss of life and loss of function. And this is because 1.9 million neurons die every minute a stroke is not treated. So this is why in our acronym that we'll talk through, B FAST, the T stands for time, because time really is brain, and every minute matters when we talk about stroke treatment. So next we'll talk about our first question is what is a stroke? So we can go to the next slide. So bottom line is a stroke is a medical emergency. This happens when a blood vessel that carries oxygen and nutrients to your brain cells is either blocked by a clot or a blood vessel bursts open and spills blood into the brain. Either way, your brain cells can't get the oxygen and the nutrients they need, which causes them to die. What happens when the brain cells die is it depends on where the stroke happens in the brain. And so this is a picture, it's a little of the functions of the brain. This is pretty simple picture of it. It's a little bit more simple than reality, but it's to show that depending on where the stroke happens, it can change how somebody looks when they have a stroke. So it can be a wide variety of signs and symptoms. So let's say you have a stroke in the occipital lobe, in this orange one, then that could mean that you're going to have visual changes. If you have one in the temporal lobe here, then it might affect somebody's ability to speak. And so it's very important that we learn how to recognize this, and so that we can do things to stop this brain damage. So in general, there are 2 types of strokes. There is the more common type of stroke, the ischemic stroke, which we'll talk about first, and then there's hemorrhagic stroke or bleeding strokes. So to start an ischemic stroke, you don't need to worry about remembering the word ischemic. Ischemic means no oxygen. And so what this type of stroke is when there is a blood vessel that's blocked. And for some reason that's blocked, whether that's from an artery that gets very, very tight, or it's from a blood clot that comes from the brain or another part of the body that blocks blood flow so that that oxygen and nutrients can't get to the brain. Without this oxygen and nutrients, like I said, the brain becomes damaged and those brain cells can die. This is about 87% of strokes. And you can kind of think of an ischemic stroke like a plumbing problem. Like if our blood vessels are the pipes and there's a blockage in the pipe, and then the water can't get through, then that causes a lot of problems for the distal pipes. They're not going to get the water. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of TIA, transient ischemic attack. Some people say this is mini stroke. So what a TIA is a warning sign for stroke. It is a temporary blockage of blood. So we could think about it in this little photo you can see. If a blood clot comes along, and then let's say then it keeps moving, so it's a temporary blockage, but that temporary blockage causes symptoms. That can be a TIA. It is not a stroke because we don't see any damage on brain scans, but this is a very important warning sign. This means that somebody's at very high risk of having stroke and needs to work to control their risk factors, which we will talk about in just a minute. So the second type of stroke is a little bit less common. It's hemorrhagic stroke. This simply means brain bleed. So you may have heard hemorrhagic stroke, you could hear brain bleed, or you could hear intracerebral hemorrhage, subarachnoid hemorrhage. All of these are to describe this type of stroke. This type of stroke happens when a blood vessel pops open and then spills blood into the brain tissue. This happens about 13% of the time of strokes nationally. Actually, in PG County, and in our county, this is a little bit more common. It's closer to 20% of strokes are hemorrhagic strokes. The reason this happens is somebody might have an increased chance of this bleeding if their blood pressure is too high. So even if you don't feel the side effects of blood pressure every single day, over time it's hurting and weakening the blood vessels in your the walls of your blood vessels, and this can lead to a stroke. Other types of things that can lead to this type of strokes are certain type of drug use like cocaine or medical conditions like aneurysms. But the most common cause of hemorrhagic stroke is high blood pressure. So that is a good segue into talking about stroke risk factors. So stroke risk factors are certain conditions that increase our chances of developing stroke. So the more risk factors somebody has, the higher chance of stroke. So there's some risk factors that we cannot change and we can't control. Those being age, as we get older, the risk of stroke increases. Sex, race, and having a prior stroke all put you at risk of having a stroke. But what we would like to focus on is modifiable risk factors or things that you can do to decrease your stroke risk. So these things can be the risk factors for stroke are high blood pressure is the number one risk factor. Close behind is cigarette smoking. Other risk factors include diabetes, high cholesterol, physical inactivity, obesity, heart disease, atrial fibrillation, so having an abnormal heart rhythm, drug and alcohol use, and sleep apnea. Importantly here is about 80% of strokes are actually preventable when we control for risk factors. And so this is why it's really important to know what puts you at risk for stroke. So once we've identified your risk factors, now it's what do we do with that? We want to know how to control these risk factors so that we can decrease the risk of stroke. So decreasing your risk starts with eating healthy and modifying your diet. So you can use tools like the DASH diet, the Mediterranean diet, low sodium diets. But what a lot of these diets have in common is they prioritize lean proteins, fiber, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and minimize processed foods, full fat dairies, sugary foods. Other things that you can do are staying physically active. I think Madra mentioned this as well, is you need or the American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes of moderate physical activity for adults per week. So 150 minutes, about 30 minutes for 5 days in the week seems pretty doable. And this can be things like Mantra was saying, walking, swimming, just ways to keep your heart healthy because heart health is really brain health. Other things you can do is taking your medications as prescribed, making sure that you have regular medical checkups as well as get blood pressure checked regularly since we know blood pressure is a very puts people at high risk of stroke, quitting smoking and decreasing risk or decreasing stress. Okay, so now we're going to move into the taking action part. So it's always possible to prevent stroke. That's what we want to do in healthcare. We want to prevent bad things from happening. But we know that 1 in 6 people will experience a stroke in their lifetime. And so we need to know what to do if a stroke happens. And the reason a lot of people don't get these life-saving medications and treatments is because they don't know when somebody is having a stroke. And so knowing the signs of stroke is very essential. Early recognition and early treatment of stroke can greatly decrease the likelihood of somebody dying from a stroke and improve outcomes and decrease disability. So we use this mnemonic in the stroke world, be fast. I'm sure a lot of you have heard it, but this is just a way to identify if somebody may be having a stroke. So the B FAST acronym, it's a very quick exam and we can walk through it now. So B stands for balance. So this is if somebody has a loss of balance or is dizzy. E stands for eyes. So if somebody has a vision change, this is going to be a sudden vision change. This isn't somebody's had cataracts or glaucoma for a very long period of time. This would be a sudden change of not being able to see in all of your vision or in part of your vision. F is for face, so this will be drooping on one side of the face. A is for arms. This is weakness in your arm or leg. It can also be numbness on one side of your body. S is for speech. This can be slurred speech, or it could be difficulty getting your words out, or when you talk, the right words aren't coming out. And then T is for time. So time is brain. And so if somebody's experiencing any of the BFAST signs or symptoms, it's important to call 911 immediately. We don't want somebody driving or going to bed and trying to sleep it off if they are having a stroke. They really need to seek medical attention as soon as possible. Other symptoms that I wanted to mention include a sudden and severe headache, typically associated with nausea and vomiting, as well as if somebody becomes unresponsive, that may be they've had a very, very big stroke and then lost consciousness. So that's always something we think about as well. But be fast is really important for the community members to know. Okay, so what does it mean to stay stroke smart? So staying stroke smart involves continuously being exposed to this information. So we have some free resources. There'll be some QR codes on the next slide, and you can visit the Stroke Smart Resource Center on MIMS.org, and you can print out this information to put on your fridge. If I was in person, I could give you some fun magnets we have, but being exposed to this, knowing the Be Fast acronym can help you be prepared. So if something happens like this to you or somebody that you can remember this information and know how important it is to call 911 and take action. I will say the MIMS website has these resources available in several languages in addition to English and Spanish. All right, so going back to why I'm here, here are those QR codes I talked about. So why I'm here is to teach you how to be stroke smart. Being stroke smart means you're able to answer these questions. So at the beginning, we talked about what is a stroke. Most importantly, a stroke is a medical emergency that occurs when blood flow is interrupted into the brain. And that could be from a clot or a narrowing of the artery, which would be an ischemic stroke, or it could be from blood bursting or blood vessel bursting open and bleeding into the brain tissue, which would be a hemorrhagic stroke. The signs and symptoms of the stroke, we use the Be Fast acronym to identify the signs and symptoms of stroke. So that stands for balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. What is the best way to stop a stroke? It's to call 911 immediately. If you think you or somebody around you is having a stroke, that is the safest thing to do. And then we talked a little bit about stroke smart and having reminders in your life so that you can be a good stroke champion. So we've touched on this a little bit. What does it look like to take action? I think the best thing you could do is to visit the website so that you can understand what resources are available to you and become a stroke champion. Stroke champion, it just means that you're going to share this information with the people around you and that you will know how to respond if something like this happens, which is a very easy response and it's to call 911. The other thing you can do is on the website as well, there's a risk factor quiz and just taking a look at your life and seeing what risk factors you have and how you can decrease your likelihood of having a stroke. And then the last thing I will say about this is the state of Maryland and was declared stroke smart in May 2022, and then PG County was declared stroke smart in April 2023. So this is a health initiative that is aimed at spreading stroke awareness. So that's why we're talking about it in May. And what you can do today is to learn those Be Fast. Like I said, the Be Fast acronym. And this is how we can really spot a stroke, stop a stroke, and save a life. So help me spread the word of knowing the Be Fast acronym. And yeah, we can definitely return to the slide with the QR codes while I take some questions if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Michaela. Our first question is Be Fast any different for men and women? And does it matter which side the symptoms are on?
That's a good question. So is it any different between men and women? And then,
Correct. That's the first part.
okay, that's a good question. So no, so the symptoms will show up equally if you're a man or a woman. Women have a slightly higher chance of having a stroke, so that's one of the non-modifiable risk factors. Um, And then the second part of the question was what side of the body. So what happens with the brain is your left side of your brain controls your right side of your body, and the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. So it doesn't have a difference of what happens on either side. It just means that the opposite side of your brain is the area that is having the stroke. For most people, their left side of their brain is where their speaking center is. But for some people, it's on the right side. So that's something that's interesting. So, but no, it doesn't matter which side. But if you see unilateral symptoms, one side of the body, that is high suspicion for stroke, and you definitely want to get that person to the hospital.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions for Michaela? All right, it looks like we don't. I think you did such a great job with your presentation and explaining everything thoroughly. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, one more question. Are the participants able to contact you directly?
Yes, Jessica. I think probably through Jessica.
Okay.
And we can definitely get you magnets. I'm not sure how, but I think Jessica might be able to figure out a way. But I have so many magnets. I have them sitting right behind me, and I have brains, stress ball brains. So if somebody, yes, in some way.
Great, thank you so much. All right, Jessica,
All
turning it over
right.
to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Michaela, for helping us better understand stroke and equipping us with such valuable information to proactively manage our health. Now we are about to shift gears to say hello to Chef Kim for our live cooking demo. Don't forget, Emily is here to take your questions, so please use the Q&A box for questions, cooking questions for Chef Kim, nutrition questions for Sharma. As a note, all Dine, Learn, and Move recipes are heart healthy and diabetes friendly and will be shared with you after this session. We do hope that you're able to stay on with us through the end of the demonstration, but if you must log off before 7:30, a link to our evaluation will pop up on your screen. We ask that you take just a few moments to complete it tonight so we can better serve you in the future as we plan our upcoming Dine, Learn, and Move sessions. Your feedback is very important to us and impacts our ability to continue bringing you this program virtually. Here are two participant testimonies from last month's evaluation. The question was, how has Dine, Learn, and Move changed your life? And we saw these two comments, wanted to share them for some motivation. So participant one shared, I feel more motivated and encouraged after each session. I've lost 15 pounds since January, and I plan to continue to lose at least 15 more pounds to continue from there to get to a healthier me. So we love that. We are so grateful for you to share that with us. Second participant shared, the Dine, Learn, and Move program motivates me to stay in control of my future. I'm the only one who is in charge of purchasing foods and beverages that I eat. The level of fitness I maintain, and taking myself in for dental, mental health, medical checkups. I truly follow each one, teach one adage, and I forward the Dine, Learn, and Move emails. Thank you to friends and family as soon as I get them in my email, and also the Tuesday before the program airs. Several of my family members, including my favorite aunt, have participated in the workouts, health information, agreed to make one of the recipes, and engaged with others in the chats. Happily, they are also repeat viewers. This is wonderful to hear. We're grateful to hear this feedback. Thank you to those that take the time to complete the survey each month. We love to hear how Dine, Learn, and Move has changed your life. So now we will be turning it over to Chef Kim.
Thank you so much for the introduction and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I love to hear all of the feedback from the program, especially if you're trying my recipes, right? Today we'll be making a spinach and artichoke dip pasta. Sounds good, right? So I'm going to give you a little breakdown on how much it costs per serving and variations that we can add or take away from it. All right, so let's get started. Spinach and artichoke dip pasta. Everything I purchased was from Giant, so a local grocery store. And the only thing that I didn't have to purchase was a bag of spinach, right? And you need about 5 ounces of spinach for baby spinach, fresh baby spinach for this recipe. But my balance with everything else, grated Parmesan, Philly cream cheese, reduced fat Philly cream cheese, our whole wheat pasta, and artichokes came to a whopping $14.07. So if you add in the spinach, it's about $5 per serving. This recipe here is for 4 servings. So we're talking about $5 for 4 per serving, 4 servings. That's great, especially in this economy, okay? So let me just give you the breakdown of the nutritional profile of this recipe. High calcium, good for bone health. It's nut-free, great for healthy aging, healthy immunity, soy-free, nut-free, high in fiber, high in protein, egg-free, low calorie, and vegetarian. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to set this aside. Right here, I have a pan of just boiling water, right? And then this is what I purchased here, my whole wheat rotini pasta, whole grain. You can find this at any local grocery store, okay? And it was on sale. So we need about 8 ounces of pasta. I'm gonna put on some gloves. I have a clean cutting board. I've already washed my hands. We're just gonna put on some gloves here. This is my measuring cup. It's 8 ounces, and we need about 8 ounces of pasta, okay? So I'm going to measure that out because measuring is important. We want to control our carb intake. And we want to know exactly what we're having, okay? So we're going to let that boil until it's al dente. Here in this pan, I'm just warming it up here. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of this spinach. Spinach, espinaca. That's what they say in Spanish. Baby spinach, 5 ounces, right? We're going to take some of this spinach and we're going to chop it up a little bit, right? We're going to chop it up, just a rough chop. Doesn't have to be uniform by all means. This is the base, besides the pasta, that's going to go into our spinach artichoke dip pasta. Now, how many of you love spinach artichoke dip when you go out? This is given the same vibe, but it's a main dish, not an appetizer, okay? We're just finally chopping this up a little bit. Spinach, how is it good for you? How can it help support the theme of this month? Right? Spinach, it's a great fuel for your body. You can use it for weight loss. It has vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C. It's good for your bones. It's an antioxidant. It is very deep in color. That means it's good for you. Has fiber. Can help maintain your weight, right? It can help prevent certain cancers. Spinach is great for you. What we're going to do here is just chop this up just a tad bit. 5 ounces, all 5 ounces, right? I'm going to chop this up a little bit. We just want it to be in more of a bite-sized piece, not necessarily stringy. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take 1 tablespoon. I have my handy dandy measuring spoon here. We're going to take 1 tablespoon of water, put it in here, and then we're going to add our spinach. You see that trick? I didn't add any oil. I didn't even add spray oil. I just added 1 tablespoon of water. Does it have to be hot water or boiling water? No, it's just easier for me here, okay? So basically what we're doing here is we're wilting our spinach. So this is going to take about 2 minutes. We're going to wilt the spinach and then we're going to transfer it to a bowl. And then we're going to start to do our base. While our pasta is cooking, we're going to work on our base, okay? So I have a spoon here. We're going to just give it a little twirl. I like to add spinach in my dishes to bulk it up, to add more veggies. I love it in an omelet. As I said before, it goes along with the theme of this month. This spinach is just part of a healthy diet, and this is something you definitely want to add to your meal, okay? Also, artichokes. We're adding artichokes, right? Artichokes. People, they sleep on the artichokes, right? Let me just show you. I got this from Giant. It's a can, 14-ounce can. It's in water. You can also get this frozen in the frozen aisle where the veggies are, the frozen corn, the frozen chopped spinach. You can use frozen, but you have to make sure that it's thawed first. And the only thing with can, and I want to give you this tip, is that sometimes, most times, it has sodium in it. So you want to open the can up, you want to rinse it and drain it a couple times. I do at least 3 or 4. Okay, so this is what you see here. It's been drained, and then we're also going to chop this up. It comes in quarters, and you want to just give it a rough chop, okay? Again, you can find this frozen. They do have them in the jar, but most times when you find it in the jar, it's with oil. And we're trying to avoid the extra calories, right? And be healthy, right? So we want to get one that's in water or frozen. okay? If you can't find it and that's the only one that you see, just make sure you rinse it well, okay? We want to make sure that we also get the liquid from the artichokes. You see all that liquid coming out? You want to make sure you squeeze that pretty tight or as tight as you can. Because what's going to happen, you don't drain it, you're going to have some watery pasta. Okay? So we want to make sure that we drain this as much as possible. I'm going to give this a rough chop in a minute, but I'm going to take out my spinach. And I'll show you what that looks like. The spinach also contains a lot of water, right? So we want to make sure when we're taking the spinach out that we are making sure we drain it or pat it to get all the excess water off of it as well. Let me give you a breakdown, a little bit about the artichoke. It does have fiber. It has magnesium. It can help support your nerve system. It has fiber. It's also part of a healthy diet. And when we say vegetarian, you can add pretty much artichoke to any pasta dish because it kind of has a flavor, but then it really doesn't completely alter a dish, right? So if you want to bulk it up, add some fiber to your meal, which helps with your gut, which helps with inflammation, which helps with heart health. Fiber, we got to make sure we get that in every day. So this is the spinach. Look how that really shriveled up, right? This is our artichoke. And again, you want to make sure you get all of that liquid out. But I'm going to give this a rough chop, all of it. Let me give my pasta a stir. Pasta is going to take about 14 minutes, but you want to give it a stir every now and again, okay? All right. So what do you like to do? Fiber, we're doing a rotini pasta, but of course, you can use any pasta you like, right? But you want to try to incorporate fiber, the daily intake or up to the daily intake as much as you can. It's good for our overall health. It's good for heart health, good for gut health. It helps you maintain, feel full longer, fiber, so you can lose weight from it, right? So it's important to try to add it in as much as we can. What I like about this dish is that it seems decadent. I'm using freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm using Philadelphia cream cheese, but it's reduced fat, right? I'm using garlic powder, fresh parsley, and by all means, you can always add to this dish. You can pair it with a side salad. You can pair it with some grilled veggies for the summer, right? As soon as the rain stops. But you can also pair it with shrimp. Grill that shrimp, marinate, grill that shrimp. You can do salmon, you can do grilled chicken, or you can leave it vegetarian and do it all veggies, okay?
Hi, Chef. I have a
Yes,
question for you.
yes.
Can you tell us more about how to buy and cook fresh artichoke?
Say that one more time.
Can you tell us more about how to buy and cook fresh artichoke?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you see an artichoke, it looks overwhelming. I'll give you that, right? The outer parts of an artichoke are, you really can't eat them. So you really have to peel the layers of the artichoke and really cook it once you peel it, right? You can find artichokes at Whole Foods, in some supermarkets, but not all. It depends on the demographic and where they place certain items in your grocery store. That's important. But the outer layers of an artichoke you can't digest those. So you want to remove the outer layers. You can grill it, you can steam it, you can stir fry it, but you want to make sure you unpeel the layers of the artichoke. Great question, by the way. Who's interested in using fresh artichoke? You can buy frozen. Frozen is still good for you. It's just flash frozen at its season peak, right? So artichokes are in season during the springtime, but they're available all year round. Okay. All right. So we have our wilted spinach here. We have our chopped artichoke here. And now we're getting ready to build on our sauce. So this is the reduced fat Philadelphia cream cheese. We're only going to use 4 ounces of this. So that's half. Does it have to be softened? No, it doesn't have to be softened because we're going to put it in a pan anyway. This is going to be our base. And what I like about using this is that there are measurements on the side of any cream cheese you buy. There's measurements, and it'll tell you this is an ounce, this is an ounce, this is an ounce, this is an ounce. In the middle is 4 ounces, so you know where to slice your cream cheese, okay? That's my other tip. So we're just going to use half of this. We're going to put this right into our pan. I'm going to turn this on medium heat. You want to keep it on low. If you turn this up, you're going to scorch the cheese and scorch the milk that we're going to add to it. We're using 3/4 cup of reduced fat milk. Can you switch up the milk if you don't use regular milk? Absolutely, you can. But do not keep your pan on low to medium heat. Okay?
Deb, do you have any thoughts about, I think this is referring to the cream cheese,
Yes.
about cream cheese in a jar at Costco versus the solid?
Oh, no, you can definitely, in a tub, you can use that as well. As long as you have a measuring cup and can measure your cream cheese out, you can definitely use a tub. You don't have to use a block of cream cheese. Great question. All right, so I have 4 ounces of cream cheese here. And then I have 3/4 cup of reduced fat milk. As I mentioned before, you don't have to use regular milk. You can switch it up because some people are allergic. So I do understand that.
Jeff, we have one more question about cream cheese.
Yes.
Does it make a difference if you use fat-free or regular?
Well, it will change the consistency of fat-free. You can try it. It will still give you a creaminess. But the taste will be slightly different because it's fat-free, right? But you can use it for sure. I'm loving the questions, guys. All right, so here we've added to our warm pan. This thing can't be bubbling and sizzling, okay? We have to keep it on low temp. I'm using a whisk. That's very important when you're using cream cheese and trying to incorporate it into a sauce. You want to use a whisk. And you just want to whisk it around, incorporate the cheese, let it break up into the milk, right? Until it becomes creamy. So we're going to whisk this until we see that the cream cheese has melted into the milk. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But you want to constantly stir. You don't want it to stick. If it starts to burn, what do I always say? Or if it starts to brown, turn your pan down, okay? All right, cool. All right.
2 more questions for you, Chef Kim.
Yes.
For the milk, can you use coconut milk?
Coconut milk. That's a vegan option. You can definitely use coconut milk for it.
And our second question is, have you made this recipe with vegan cream cheese?
No, I have not. I have a lot of allergies, so I have to be very careful with what I try. I do have a lot of allergies.
Thank you,
I
Chef.
have used it with cream cheese, vegan cream cheese.
And I just got a clarification on the question about the ingredient in the jar. She was actually referring to artichokes in the jar. Can that be used instead?
The artichokes in the jar, as I mentioned before, can be used, but just be careful because most times in the jar, is packed in oil, right? Whereas this can is packed in water, and I know people don't like to use the can. It has the can taste and things of that nature, but you could also go to the frozen aisle and pick up frozen artichokes. It's not in any liquid, it's in a bag. You can let it defrost, and then you can use and chop it up just the same, right? But if you use the one in the jar, it's going to have oil and it's going to add to your calorie intake. Okay?
And we have a question about cooking pasta for you.
Yes.
Do you put oil in the pasta to prevent it from sticking?
I do not use that method. I don't feel like I have to use that method. I don't even salt my water sometimes for my own health reasons. You can salt it, but it's not required for you to add oil. It's not. All right, I want to show you what this looks like. And it does have little bits of spinach in there from when we did the wilting. So I just want to show you. It's nice and creamy in here. See? Can you see a little bit? All right, now that we see, and we've scraped the sides of our pan, that the cream cheese has been incorporated, we want to add a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. It has to be grated. It can't be shredded. It has to be grated. Why? It's going to change the texture of your sauce if you don't use grated, okay? It will make it stringy when you use shredded instead of grated. It's a very different consistency, okay? So just keep that in mind. We're gonna add some cheese, 1/2 cup. This is gonna give it that sharpness that you taste when you dip that tortilla chip in that appetizer. Yeah. We're gonna do 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic or garlic powder. And my pasta is almost done here, so I'm gonna drain it in a sec.
And
So
while
this-
you're adding the garlic, we have another question.
Yes,
Would oat milk change the taste or consistency of the dish?
a little bit. Yes, it will. It will. When you start adding like vegan, coconut milk would also alter the taste of your dish because it's coconut milk, right? But anything you're adding will kind of alter it. It might not be as creamy. So just keep that in mind too. We're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, ground black pepper. Add it here, and we're gonna give it a whisk. It's smelling really good in here. Again, you can keep this vegetarian and not even add meat to it. Or you can keep this, you can add shrimp, salmon, chicken, steak. You can add whatever you want to your own dish, okay? All right, the other thing we wanna do is make sure that our spinach is drained. I'm gonna show you this. You see that liquid coming out of the spinach? You wanna make sure you drain that as well. That's gonna be very important for not getting your sauce watery. Just make sure you drain that a lot. Okay. The serving size is going to be 1 cup. That's the serving size for this dish. Now we're going to add in our chopped artichokes. It's smelling amazing in here. I want to give this a little swirl. Let it get incorporated here. This is an easy dish, guys. It's easy to get this thing going. You can easily make this a dish and meal prep it out for the week. You can make it for 1 person, 4 people, 2 people. This is the way to go. All right, we're gonna check on our pasta.
And while you're doing that, Chef Kim, we have a fun question for you.
Yes.
The participants would like to hear more about your background, your training, and how long you've been a chef because they think you are
wow.
great, and we do
Oh,
too.
thank you. Thank you. So initially I went to school for theater. And then turn of events, I was living in New York, cooking for all my dorm mates, cooking curry chicken and mac and cheese. And I moved back home after I graduated, and I pursued culinary at PG Community College, where I received my degree. And so I've been in the hotel, I was in the hotel industry for maybe about 15 years, worked my way up. My last hotel I worked at was the Gaylord Hotel. I started as a cook 1, built myself up to a cook 3, which is high level. And then after that, I became a restaurant supervisor. So I have managed all of their restaurant outlets at the Gaylord. And so from there, I started my own catering business in 2017, full time. I was doing it from 2011, but part-time because I had a full-time job. But in 2017, I started doing it full-time. And so I do have my own catering business. We offer catering, cooking classes, private chef services, and we just recently added meal prep services. But I've been in hotel and hospitality for over 15 years. I love doing what I do. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
That's amazing, Chef Kim. Thank you for
Thank
sharing that
you.
with us.
Thank
We learned
you.
something new about you today.
Yeah. I've also been like an assistant. I don't know if you all are familiar with the show Top Chef, which is on Bravo. And there was a chef from here, Carla Hall, where she prepared a meal for the Food and Wine Festival that was located at the National Harbor. I was her assistant for that event. I was also the assistant of another chef who was working for Barack Obama's inauguration. So I'm really happy with my journey. I am. Okay, I'm adding some of my pasta to my sauce. I'm trying to drain it as I go along. But you know what a good tip is? Sometimes, depending on what kind of pasta, not creamy, but maybe a tomato sauce or maybe a garlic butter sauce, you can also add pasta water to your dish, and that'll help thicken it up. That's my tip. This is looking really good. I want to add the rest of my pasta here, so I'm going to drain this out. I'm going to add the rest of my pasta in here. And then we're going to plate this up so you can see what this looks like. You want to make sure that you still have the pan down, turned down. And then what I picked up was some fresh parsley. Do you have to be extra with the fresh parsley? You don't have to be extra, but I'm a little extra. I'm gonna add the parsley, okay? So I have some parsley that I had left over from a meal. I'm gonna take a few sprigs. I'm gonna chop it up. And we're gonna have a nice meal together, somewhat. We'll just show you how this turns out here. We're going to also spread a little bit of grated Parmesan on the top. I can't wait to show you all what this looks like. Woo, let me show you. Hold on. I'm just, you know how excited I get, right? Do you have to use this style of pasta, shape of pasta? You do not. There's all types of pastas that you can use, different shapes that are located in your local grocery store. Remember, 1 cup is a serving. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to top this off with some fresh parsley. because we're fancy. And we're gonna also use a little bit more of grated Parmesan cheese on top. Maybe like a teaspoon. And I also like crushed red peppers, but I'm not gonna add it. I'm gonna fly with the Parmesan cheese. Let me show you what this looks like. Okay. This is what it looks like. Creamy, smells really good, and it looks appetizing, right? We're gonna give this a try. Again, we have fusilini pasta, whole wheat pasta, which adds the fiber, which keeps you full. It's good for your gut. It's good for weight control. Fiber is good for inflammation. It helps with heart health to help you prevent strokes. Let's try to incorporate that in our daily intake, okay? Food. You can always get fiber, gummies, and everything from all of the stores, right? But we want to actually put it in our food. So we have whole wheat pasta here. You can change the shape. If you're not a big rotini shape fan, you can switch that up. You can use protein pasta. Protein pasta. If you have to add more protein to your diet, you can add protein pasta to this, okay? Spinach. You can use fresh spinach. You can use frozen chopped spinach, okay? Just make sure that it's drained. Can you use artichokes in a jar? Absolutely. Just make sure that you take it out of the oil, drain it, chop it. But you can also find artichokes in a can. Bling, bling, bling. Or frozen. And then the cream cheese you can find anywhere. Do you have variations that you can use? Absolutely. Can you switch up the milk? Absolutely. Okay, and then mix it all up, combine everything. You can add protein or leave it vegetarian. It's all up to you guys. Let's just give this a try because I'm excited, as always. Let me tell you. Okay, when a pasta dish come out and tastes like a dip, you know you didn't do something right. This is a must try, and it's fiber pasta. You know, sometimes fiber can alter some things. This is good. You don't even think about an app. Would I add some chicken to it? Mm-hmm. Chicken breast, shrimp. You can do anything, any protein you like, or keep it vegetarian. If you want to do vegetarian, grill your veggies. Use the air fryer. You can do whatever you want with this dish, but I hope you do try it. Okay? Do we have any more questions?
Additional questions at the moment, Chef. Thank you so much.
No more questions? Guys, try the pasta. It's good. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thanks for joining us this evening, and thanks for following me along as I do my spinach dip pasta.
Thank you so much. Bravo to Chef Kim for that amazing cooking demonstration. We can't wait to try these recipes at home. The wheel you're about to see is filled with the names of those who completed the evaluation in April and opted into the prize drawing by leaving their name and email address. Next month, you will only see your name on the wheel if you complete tonight's survey and opt in. Right now, we will celebrate an April 2025 participant. Savannah, could you please give the wheel a spin? And our lucky winner is Judy. Our lucky winner will receive an air fryer courtesy of Suburban Hospital. In the next few days, you will receive an email with a link to our recording, of tonight's presentation, another copy of tonight's recipes, and other resources that we've shared throughout the night. Our hope is that you use these resources to help support you in your wellness until we meet again next month. If you do try these recipes at home, please share a photo with our team by responding to the follow-up email you will receive within the next few days. We'd love to see how your dish comes out. Thanks for joining and have a wonderful night. We hope to see you in June for Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, where we will have a guest speaker from the Alzheimer's Association lead an informative health talk on Alzheimer's disease and how to take charge of your brain health. Good night, everyone.